Welcome to our day today. This is Success and Money Live. We teach kids, teens, young adults, and adults about success and money because most likely you didn't learn it in school. And today we've got a wonderful program for you of the things we're going to be teaching. First off, we're going to be talking about your health. You know, it's health, wealth, and multiple streams of income. The number one thing we got to do is work on your health. Number two is we're going to work on your wealth and then your multiple streams of income. Today, that's what we're going to be doing. Colette Larson is going to be moved to next week. We've had a scheduling issue, and so she will be here next week. But we're going to get pretty hardcore today in helping you kick off and get things going. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But the first thing is to talk about your health. Now, I'm a perfect example of that. I'm 63 years of age, but when I was 34 years of age, I had a heart attack. And as they were wheeling me into the operating room to try and get this artery open, I looked over at my wife and I wondered if I was coming back. And if I didn't come back, who is going to take care of my two special needs children? Well, that was many years ago. Luckily, I survived. 1/3 of the people who have a heart attack die. First sign they have any problem is just death. They're gone. We don't want that to happen to you. We want you to have a full and wonderful life. So it's health, wealth, and then multiple streams of income. So I got my good friend, Mr. Werner Berger, on with me, and we're going to be talking about the 5 things that you've got to do on your health to make sure that we can do this correctly. And I'm the first guy to do it. I've been doing the water thing, Werner. I haven't ran to the potty so much in, quite a bit of time. And that's one of the things that you start with, and he's going to talk about 4 or 5 things. Start all of them. You may not get them accomplished each day, but each day resets and you can restart over. So Werner, take it away. Let's talk about your health and how it's in danger.
Thank you so much, Tom. Really appreciate being here because, as you just said, if you don't have your health, you absolutely have nothing. And it really starts at a very early age because usually young people think, oh, I'm going to be healthy forever and I can eat anything I want. But unfortunately, our bodies do not like that approach because gradually we build up more and more plaque, we get fatter, joints deteriorate, or organs start not functioning. Let me take you very, very quickly through the current reality. And by the way, a lot of what I'm doing today, Tom, is a repeat of yesterday because last week, because we don't see something once and learn it forever. There's some really bad news on the horizon. And one of them is that since the early 20s, we have noticed that young people are dying at a younger age than their parents. And that is horrible. And we need to do something preventatively about that. Another bad statistic, and you just mentioned it, is with the first sign of heart attack, 1/3 of the victims actually don't make it. So we're really lucky to have have made it and making this enormous contribution to the world. Another one, for North America, 8 out of 10 people die prematurely. And the bad news is the 20% that don't, 85% of them suffer, and these are their words, not mine, suffer and die from degenerative diseases and don't enjoy the rest of their lives, which that means only about 2 people out of 100 get through in reasonable shape. This is preventable. 98% of people or 78% of people are overweight or obese in the Western world. And that, of course, has a huge impact on type 2 diabetes. This needs to be handled. And thank goodness for you, Tom, bringing this into play very early. You saw this last time. There are 5 causes for this. One is the amount of toxins we ingest. Next one is the nutrition that we don't do properly. We have too much junk food. We don't exercise regularly as a society. Our lives tend not to be balanced. And we often, in fact, most of us, come from the orientation that I'm not good enough. So our mindset, our attitude has to change. We have to start really, really valuing our bodies. We have to value ourselves. We have to value the unique contribution that we make. And a lot of people don't do that, especially younger people. As people age, they start seeing, more of their value, but not all of them do. So in terms of toxin intake, we need to start reducing whatever we can. This is not an easy one. As far as nutrition is concerned, we need to improve it. As far as exercise is concerned, we need to do it more regularly. As far as life balance is concerned, we need to start reducing stress. And in terms of mindset and attitude, we need to regain the mindset that we had as kids. Because as kids, we felt omnipotent. There is nothing that we could do. There's nothing that could stop us other than, of course, big bullies or people telling us, no, you can't do that, or there's a consequence if you do that. So we need to regain that childish enthusiasm for life. And so let me take you very, very quickly through these 5 elements. And of course, one of the key problems is smoking. And it's just not smoking cigarettes and tobacco and things like that. It has to do with air pollution and sucking in bad air. It has to do with ground and water pollution. And of course, it has to do with the amount of garbage and the amount of plastic that is thrown all over the place and into our oceans. And when you see things like this, you and I are responsible for this. Instead of throwing something down and thinking somebody else will pick it up, or, oh, the wind will take it away. This world is your living room. And if you treat it like a clean, respectable living room, and we all start doing that, we will all be healthier and there will be less toxins. So our job is to reduce toxins in our lives as much as we possibly can. As far as nutrition is concerned, we have a choice. You can choose healthy foods or you can choose junk foods. You can eat more vegetables, more greens. You can eat more fruit. You can cut back on some of the carbohydrates that are bad for us. You can eat more seeds. You can eat more nuts. You can look at the ratio of carbs and proteins and fats that you ingest, because these are all controllable elements. And just a quick summary of the water that we talked about. We need on average 64 ounces of good water every single day. And it means less pop. It means less coffee. It means less sugary drinks, which of course are pop. And just again, a quick summary in terms of picture form: more vegetables, balance in carbs, less sugars, less ice cream. And it doesn't mean you never have it. You just start cutting back, as Tom said earlier. And if you really look after your food intake and your water intake to 80% of the time, you will be healthier. Weight is a real issue, and weight comes from putting bad carbs in, not getting enough exercise, not getting enough sleep, and of course, I don't know, but here is a refresher. We were talking about bad carbs going into our body, and with a sedentary lifestyle, our bodies just start accumulating more and more fat. This is just a model of good filtering out water. I was looking for actually an image of me filling up in a mountain stream on Mount Kilimanjaro using a filter bottle, but I couldn't find it. The other thing, if you are using supplements, the key is to use vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Those are the foundations of health. Let's switch to exercise. And you saw my summary. I changed the format a little bit. Stretching is important, cardio is important, core strength is important, weight bearing is important, and having fun at what you're doing, which could be all kinds of sporting activities. And again, just as a quick reminder in terms of images and the number of times we need to do this, 5 minutes a day of stretching. And by the way, if you don't know what exercises to use, go to Google and just look at stretching exercises, look at cardio exercises, core strength exercises. And actually, I'm going to give you a link to some really, really good core strength exercises. This is all about cardio, and you don't have to be running. You can be walking, but the key is approximately 20 minutes a day is what's needed. And of course, if you can or want to do more and you want to push the cardio, you can do it. You can bicycle, you can lie on your back, and you can kick your feet back and forth like crazy. All of that is good cardio. You can jump up and down. You can do jumping jacks. As far as core is concerned, here's the link. 8-minute abs. It is an 8-minute exercise taking you through a series of core strengths, and it asks you to do 45 seconds per. And if you can't do 45 seconds, just attempt to do 45 seconds, rest for the rest of the time, and then kick into the next one. It is a phenomenal set of exercises that really helps the center part of your body get strong. And that truly is the foundation of strength within your body. As far as weight bearing is concerned, this is ideal for bone strength and of course for muscle strength. And my recommendation is pick a set of muscles. For example, it could be shoulders, it could be arms, it could be legs, it could be back, and look for 3 exercises, do 8 to 12 reps and 3 sets of them. And by the way, you don't have to do all of these exercises one after the other, because some of us don't have an hour to do exercises. But if you do 20 minutes of walking at some point during the day, 8-minute abs at some point during the day, some strength bearing ones. And by the way, you don't need weights for strength bearing. And of course, the final one is just play, have sports, have fun. And finally, breathe. And I did model how to breathe. And again, if you do this 5 times a day and you suck in as much as you can, and then you suck in a bit more, and you suck in a bit more, and you suck in a bit more, you are expanding your lungs and getting everything working. And then exhaling fully. And just do that 5 times a day. Your whole system will appreciate you for that. As far as stress reduction is concerned, there are all kinds of things you can do. But I believe the most important thing for you is to look at how much time are you working? How much time do you feel stress? How much percent or time in your life do you play and you feel relaxed? So look at the proportions. And as I said last time, some people have 80% work time, but they're not stressed. They're enjoying their work. And I think Tom is a perfect example of this, our fearless leader. And if there's 20% playtime, they are quite happy with that because their life is not under stress. On the other hand, we have people that are under stress 20 to 30% of the time and 70% not, and they are not happy with that. So again, you have the power to shift that. And here is one of the steps that you need to start with. And I really mean you need to start with. Most people grow up believing and thinking and convinced that they are not good enough. But all that is a learned situation. Our mind has taken on somebody else's judgment of us. And when you start cleaning that up and really starting to appreciate yourself, you won't do what this little guy is doing. If you saw this in the past, I will just read it to you again. I appreciate being nominated as president of our youth group. This little guy says, I really appreciate being nominated, but I'm afraid I must decline on grounds that I am too stupid. And so many of you compare yourselves to other people and you say, I'm not as good as they, which means that you believe that you are, or really at least have elements of stupidity. That is so crazy, because ultimately, when you stop thinking negatively of yourself and you start thinking of how unique you are, how different you are, how special you are, how talented you are in different ways. Now, Tom might have some talents that I don't have. In fact, tons of them. And that's okay. I can't do what he does, but I can do what I can do. And you can do what you can do. And not everybody can do what you can do. So here's a resource. You already have it in your back office. It's in the Success and Money Foundation. There are some fabulous videos by Kurt Mortensen and Robin Allen, Millionaire Psychology, Empower Yourself, Inner Success and Wealth. What I'm going to recommend, when you watch any one of these videos, make some notes. And before you watch the next one, think to yourself, how am I going to apply this? How can I internalize this into my life? And then work on that. It might not be easy, but it will be extremely valuable to you in the long term. I'm going to close by this mindset thought. Again, this guy can be extremely happy when he says, when I control and choose my thoughts, I control my world. That's when I control my life. And that's what I want for you. So, quick refresher. There are 5 key causes and actions that you can take. Reduce toxins, improve nutrition, regular exercise, and regular is the key here. Reduce stress to create life balance and regain that positive mindset and that attitude that you had as a kid. Because no, you are unique. You are special. You can do anything that Tom is teaching you, and all of the success and money principles are teaching you. Tom, that's me for today.
Werner, thank you so much. That is awesome. I appreciate you coming on and being able to talk with us today. It is so cool to have you here. You are a wonderful gentleman, and I'd say, and I'm so excited to have you talking with us about the things that we do. So with that being said, I want to talk to you about my little journey. So that might be helpful for you. You know, there's 5 things that Werner talked about. And you know what? Your goal over the next 90 days is to create that habit. You know, they say in 21 days, you can create a habit. Well, my goal is to have you get that habit going in the next 21 days and reinforce it. Now, the reality is you're not going to get all of it done all the time. Every day, you're not going to be able to do that. So with my schedule, my busy schedule, what I've got going on, I'm just taking the things that Werner's talking about. He's my my health guru. I went to the kidney doctor yesterday. Werner is not on any doctor prescribed medications. I'm on a ton of them. What you have to do is you have to take those 5 things and then those subgroups of each one of them, like nutrition. So the first one is water. So here's all my water right here. And every morning I've got these 3 bottles right here. And this is how I'm getting my 64 ounces of water. And they're right here at my desk. If I jump in a car and have to go somewhere, I pick one up and I take it with me. I take it to my meetings. And my goal is to get through the 64 ounces. And I have not succeeded. I have not got through. Well, I think 1 or 2 days of this last week, I got through all 64 ounces of water. And I don't see it as a failure. I see it as, hey, I'm doing a lot better than I did before. Now, here's the interesting thing about health is that there's things that you should do, that you want to do, that are good for you, that'll make you feel better, that will give you more energy. Then we want to go towards those. And the nice thing about what Werner's teaching you is that as you go through, for example, the water, as you're drinking more and more water, you don't have time to go drink pop. You don't have time to do that because you got this much water I need to get through today. And my goal is to get through all 64 ounces of that. And then, like, some days I get it, some days I don't, but that's the goal. When it comes to eating, we need to do 5 vegetables a day. And I got to admit, I'm terrible at this part, but I'm doing better. And so it's like, oh, I got to get 5 of these. I got to get 5 of these. I got to get 5 of these. So I'm looking at my goal. I'm going towards the things I need. I'm looking for 5 vegetables wherever I'm going to get my 5. And my daughter calls it plant food and plant points with her kids. So I'm working on that. Some days I don't do that, but in my head, I says there's 5 veggies I got to get. How am I going to find these veggies out in this jungle that I live in that's all over and doing all kinds of stuff? Exercise. There's things I've got to do with exercise. Some of you got a bike or something like that you can get on, or you can go walk. That's one of the things I've got to do. And then, we talked about the weight bearing. Well, for me, I've just got these stretch bands, these resistant bands. And I've had 2 back surgeries. So I basically lay on the floor. I've got this band that I use and I move around and I just stretch and I stretch and I stretch and stretch and instead of doing sit-ups like real great people do, I'm doing little sit-ups and they're not pretty and they don't look good. And you'll never see me on an exercise video, but I'm doing those pieces. I'm working these muscles. One of the challenges is that when you get older, it's just really easy your metabolism changes for many people. Some people it doesn't change at all, but for some people it changes dramatically. Yeah, you wonder why some people are overweight. Well, I'm overweight for what I should be, and I don't think I'm doing anything that's that wrong. So the piece that you got to do is we've got to go towards the goal. What is the goal that we need to do? Well, there's those 5 things that we need to do. Tony Robbins, you talk about having your mindset correctly. I love Tony. If you know anything about Tony, way back in the day, Robert Allen and I, our offices was literally just down the street from his office as he was getting started. If you've heard his story and all that stuff, his Del Mar Castle, Bob actually talked to him about some ideas on how he could buy it, and some really crazy things. But Tony Robbins is the best. And he has that one priming video that you need to watch. So as you go to your courses and you go to personal development, there's one on Tony Robbins where it's priming. And I do that. My goal is to do that at least 4 times a week. And I did it this morning. And it takes 10 minutes. And it's probably the best thing you can do to get your mind right, to work on your gratitude. Number 1 is gratitude. If you look at the things that you're grateful for, and you need to make a list of it every day, write it out, get a piece of paper and write it out. And your goal is to write 20, 30 things. And they can be simple, small little things. I'm grateful for clean water. I'm grateful that I have a house. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for each one of my kids and each one of my grandkids. And I literally go through my brain and look at each one of them and say their name. I'm so grateful for the people I work with. I'm grateful for my program. I'm grateful for Werner. And so gratitude starts. That's how you start. Number 2 is you got to bring in the good vibes to your body, and this is what Tony does so well. There's a spiritual world out there. There's an energy world. There's all kinds of things. But the fact is that you can change your body. The way your mind thinks can change the way you feel and your body. And you want to bring those things in. You want to send out healing to other people. Who do you love? Who needs the help? You need to send that out because it really changes who you are. And then you can start looking, what are the 3 things that I'm going to accomplish? What are the 3 things? And I just go back out of there. And one of the things I've been thinking about for a long time is 100,000 hours. And we have a fun celebration we're going to talk about in just a minute. but I've been thinking about it. It's taken me 3 years to get there, but I always kept thinking about it. I'm okay with failing and not accomplishing it. I'm not okay with not trying. Okay, I have no problem with failure. I got no problem losing money on something. I do have a huge problem if I don't try. And if I tried, I figured out the best I could, and I made the best decision I had with the information I had. And I'd probably make the same decision again if I had that same information. So I don't beat myself up about bad deals. And I've got some doozies. I've got one where I've lost more money on this one deal than I've ever lost on any other deal in my life that just happened. And it's just tearing me apart. But it's not tearing me any apart more, because you know what? Money's just a game. Your health is just a game. We're playing the game. And if you play well, you get bonuses. Okay? If you do it well, you get bonuses. If you do well with your money, you get bonuses. It's not money. It's math. It's just numbers. And if you do well, you get a bonus. If you don't do well, you get a bonus, but it's a much smaller bonus. Otherwise, you're living the stress, which Werner talked about, the stress of managing millions and millions of dollars. In my lifetime, my companies with Bob Allen and with other people's in joint ventures, we've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in sales and expenses. And I've had times in my life where the stress has just been overwhelming, because I had 250 employees, and I felt like that their livelihood was on my shoulders to make it work. And then outside forces, like the economy, like the war with Iraq, those are outside things that I couldn't have done anything about, that came in and derailed all that. So stress is a major thing. So the way I changed my thing about stress and money was, it's just math. It's just numbers. It doesn't matter. It's just a game. And if I play the game well, I get extra points. And those extra bonuses I can go do something fun with. It's not money. It's just math. And have fun with that. So now it's a game. Okay. So that will change your world on stress. And I highly, highly recommend that you go through the stress program, with the one that we talked about with Tony. I did it today. It's in your personal development section. You've got to do that. So and then the toxins. Again, I love what Werner is saying. We've got to be better at that. We've got to, because we've got to start recycling, and we got to find better solutions than just throwing stuff out, because it just doesn't go away. It's going to come back to haunt us. So I applaud Werner for what he's talking about. I agree with the stuff he's talking about. And, we talked about, his health. He's in way better shape than I am. And he is my senior of 22 years. And right now, Werner, if you would swap bodies, I would swap bodies with you. I would probably take an 85-year-old body that's in your kind of shape versus my 63-year-old body. Now, that can't happen. But you get my point. Our goal is to be like Werner. And that's kind of what I say when I do stuff. What would Werner do? Well, he would pick up that thing and drink that water. He would stretch. He would do these other things. And so that's why this is so important. So I want to thank him for that one. That's our first section for today. Health first. Health, health, health. If you don't have your health, you're in trouble. As I've had companies and my health has been good, they have just climbed. And I've done some amazing things when my health has been good. When my health has been bad, I had a heart attack at age 34. I've had 2 major back surgeries. I've had some real issues with depression that hit me that I just didn't see coming. When that happened, these companies tanked. And I lost millions and millions and millions of dollars because I could not keep that business going because I didn't have my energy. Energy is the most important thing you can have. Vince Lombardi, the famous football coach, said that fatigue makes cowards of us all. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. And that's really true. If you do not have the energy, if you are fatigued, you cannot do it. It just doesn't happen. So you got to find a way to go walk up the stairs instead of taking the elevator, walk around the long way around the parking lot, figure out how to get your steps in, figure out how to do your stretches. and it'll make a huge difference. Get that priming done every morning. And all of you these are our goals for the next 21 days. We really want to crank on that and make that happen. So we're going to go to our next segment. I want to thank everybody from around the world that's on with us. I want to especially thank my good friend Werner, who is my coach. He's my mentor that is helping me to fix, because I know that the way that I continue to get this foundation off the ground is I have to feel good and I have to have the energy to go out and make it happen. So stay tuned. We're going to come right back and we're going to be talking about some other wonderful things about money. And again, go share the wealth. Go share the wealth. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're a nonprofit educational foundation. We're an NGO, a charity. We don't even have a merchant account to take your money, even if we wanted to. We're giving back. This is a legacy project for all the instructors. Werner's here because he loves to be here and he wants to make a difference. John Lee's here. My staff, the teachers are all here because they want to make a difference. So thank you. We'll be right back in just a second. Be right back.